A state of emergency has been declared in the US state of Baltimore, with 6 people still unaccounted for after a major bridge collapsed into a river early this morning. A huge search operation is now underway for those who are missing. They're believed to be part of a construction crew working on the Francis Scott Key Bridge at the time of the incident. Officials say 2 people have already been found. One was taken to hospital and the other was uninjured. This all happened when a cargo ship, which was trying to pass through the bridge, hit one of the columns holding the bridge up. That led to the 1.6-mile-long structure snapping and plunging into the Patapsco River at high speed. In the last half an hour, President Biden said he will move heaven and earth to reopen the port.
We're going to send all the federal resources they need as we respond to this emergency. And I mean all the federal resources. And we're going to rebuild that port together. Everything so far indicates that this was a terrible accident. At this time, we have no other indication, no other reason to believe there's any intentional act here. Personnel on board the ship were able to alert the Maryland Department of Transportation that they had lost control of their vessel, as you all know and reported. As a result, local authorities were able to close the bridge to traffic before the bridge was struck, which undoubtedly saved lives.
Joining me to discuss this tragic accident, it seems, is Harret Alexander, the senior US features reporter for The Times. Harret, thank you so much for joining us again today. I mean, this is something that once you've actually seen the film footage, you cannot take your eyes off. It looks like a scene from a disaster movie, a very expensive one that's been very carefully staged and filmed, but actually it's happened in real life. It's almost unbelievable watching it. Now, there are going to be some people, Harriet, who haven't seen it today and are listening to this on the radio. So I'm relying on your cinematic powers of description to convey to them just what an extraordinary cataclysmic collision this really is.
Well, yes, you're right. The mayor of Baltimore said that it was like something out of a disaster film. And he's not wrong. I mean, it's just incredible to see this huge construction of steel just come plummeting down into the water as this cargo ship is underneath it. And actually, when you watch the footage of it quite carefully, you can see what is going on in the sense that there is a big puff of smoke from the container ship. The lights seem to flicker and then go out. They momentarily come back on, but that's when it begins to veer off course. And that's what we think is what happened, that the power was lost. And that, of course, means that the steering goes out, and that's what caused it to collide with the pillar and bring the bridge crashing down.
And we believe that really it was the sheer, gigantic, voluminous weight of the ship. It was such a huge vessel that the collision was catastrophic in that no bridge would be able to withstand that level of force.
That's right. Yes. There's no suggestion so far that there was any problem with the bridge or that there was any issues with the vessel itself. They do lose power every now and then. I mean, it shouldn't happen, but it's not unheard of. It was being piloted by a local crew. There was 2 pilots on board, and that's standard. That's what you do, is that you have people who are experts in those particular waters who will help navigate through the harbour. And then when you get out onto the open seas, it's just the crew that takes control. So there's nothing untoward so far. It just seems like it was awful timing, which caused this astonishing and really quite devastating scene.
And then, as you pointed out earlier on my programme, Harriet, when we spoke to you at the beginning of the programme, there was the most awful timing, but also excellent timing in that when this happened, it was at 1 a.m.-ish in the morning and the bridge was not full of traffic.
Right, absolutely. And this is a really busy bridge. The route, for those who don't know Baltimore well, it's essentially the ring road for Baltimore. So it's a very busy bridge, huge amounts of traffic over it throughout the day and night. But thankfully, because it happened at 1:30 in the morning, 1:20, there was not heavy traffic. And what was incredibly important, and Joe Biden stressed this just a minute ago, was that the authorities in Baltimore were really quick thinking, and they closed the bridge as soon as the crew said, we have a problem here.
And now we have still 6 people missing in this freezing cold river because we've been given the temperatures of the water, and my goodness, it's absolutely perishing down there, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the air temperature is very cold. I'm in New York, but Baltimore is not that far away. It is cold here. The water is very cold as well. People will not survive long in that water, which is what's forefront of everybody's minds right now. So 6 people are still missing, construction workers who were on the bridge at the time, and they are really racing against time, using everything at their disposal to try and see if they can find and save these people.
And President Biden has spoken, and he says he'll be going to Baltimore with all due speed. Maybe you can summarise a little of the rest of the speech that he's just made, Harriet.
Yes, yes. So one thing that's interesting is that he said that the federal government will cover all of the costs of rebuilding this bridge. Joe Biden has made quite a big thing of infrastructure. He really prides himself on getting it done. He said he wants Congress to support him in this plan and push it through. He was asked whether the ship company will be held liable. He said it was too early to talk about that, and he didn't want to wait. He wanted, as he said, to move heaven and earth to get the port reopened, to get things back up and running, and to show the people of Baltimore that the federal government was really with them.
And yet, when you and I last spoke only an hour ago, we had a former head of the Coast Guard, the Irish Coast Guard, on the programme with you. And also we had a chief engineer of a very well-known international construction company. And both said that this is a huge job. In fact, we were warned that this might take as long as 10 years to be completed and before a single car does get to go over that bridge again.
Yes, I think that sounds right. I mean, these things do take an awful amount of time, but I think Biden is really signaling that he wants to prioritize this, that he wants to make it happen. Of course, we've got the election coming up in November, so it might not be him in power, but he certainly feels that this is something that should be prioritized. It's a very important route for Baltimore. It's a busy city, and you know the way that Baltimore is located in the U.S. You have Philadelphia, D.C. just down the road, New York not far away. It's a really clogged artery, and so they will want to get this rebuilt as soon as possible to try and push, keep Baltimore alive and thriving.
I think we should also use the opportunity, Harriet, to echo the sentiments of the former chief of the Irish Coast Guard, who was my guest earlier. And the reason I want to repeat this is because I think it's important that we all do take on board this information, not information I'd ever been given before. He said that the design of modern cars means that if your car plummets into water, everything closes down. The doors lock, the boot locks, you can't get out of the car. So he recommends what he himself does, which is always to keep in the car, A, a torch, and B, a sharp tool with which you can break the window, so at least you stand some chance of escaping. I mean, I'd never even thought of that, had you?
No, not at all. Actually, I was just taking note of that. I thought that's really good advice. And interestingly, here in the US, we had a high-profile case last month of a billionaire woman who is the sister of a very high-profile politician here. Her Tesla reversed into a pond on the estate, the 900-acre estate she has in Texas, and she drowned inside that car because she couldn't get out. And that made a lot of us think about how you should quickly open the windows as soon as a car goes into water. So it's very relevant for all walks of life and very important advice, I think.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the programme, Harriet. It's greatly appreciated.